So this process would give us as Kelly said, a spreadsheet of all of the requests that we've had on the screen. So you could look down and see the same information from each one of the organizations answering a specific set of questions. They would be required to do this by January 1st. If they don't do it by January 1st, they are not considered during this current year. They would be free to apply the following year, but not during this year. We decided not to ask them for their quote financials because we get so many different formats. We get 3, 4, 5 pages from some. We get very little from others. So we talked about what is the most important information that we should receive. Kelly is going to take our discussion that we had today, develop and what is it called?
Google Docs.
Google Docs form.
Google Docs form. She's going to create that document. She's going to email it to us so we can look at it, review it. We will ask the council to, perhaps, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to vote based on our current meeting schedule. We're going to have to get this back out to them very quickly, because if they have to have it by January 1st, we need to give them some build-up time. Gary's already had maybe a half dozen requests
Yeah, I got
submitted.
about 10 of them so far.
Yeah, paper ones, similar to the past, some new, most of them are old, or not old, but they're ones who are repeat customers. And we're going to ask them to redo it in a much more simplified format for us as a council and for the Budget Advisory Committee to look at as we're going through the third-party requests. We pretty much agreed that we don't need to have them come to a meeting, give a 10-minute presentation, nor answer questions. We touched a little bit on who we should support, but we tried to stay away from that. You know, this is more just to make a streamlined process, something that's easier for us to do. I think it should be easier for the requesters to fill out, but again, it's technology. And some of us are more afraid or not as easy with technology as others, but we've asked Kelly to at least give us the first draft of what that would look like. I'm guessing that we will probably try to share that with the council through email.
I think probably once we get it worked out, I'll just send it off to all the council members. Maybe we can do a straw poll to figure if we can give this thing a test drive with this upcoming season.
So the basic purpose is to make a process which makes it easier for them, makes it easier for us, gives us the information that we need, and doesn't hide it amongst pages of other stuff that we tend not to read when it becomes more than a summary.
I'm more than all for it, but I don't think you need to send it to us and then us hold it up for a few days. It's something you're trying. I think just try it, and it's got to be better than what they're doing now.
I don't disagree at all.
I don't see any need to get an okay from everybody to try something that's
So you're gonna trust the fact that we're gonna be able to work this out and make it work for the next.
He's good at trusting.
You made that motion, right?
I'll make a motion to that. I mean,
Okay.
I just think that it's always been a bone of contention. It takes half of the time doing your budget.
I don't
It's-
disagree. It's brutal.
It's for what it is, dollar-wise, it's not worth the hassle.
Yeah, it's perfect. I love it.
Don, one of the questions we've had lots of times from some of these organizations is they say how much money they've spent in Oakland, but they don't say how much they got reimbursed of that expense. Will this be on the form? Or?
That was probably one of the toughest questions we talked about today, and we'd like to try to get something like that. We're not sure how to do that, and we'll see what Kelly comes up with for a first response. But that is,
Because we always discuss that quite a bit as to whether they've already got paid for what they're asking for.
the one comment that was made was that every organization, whatever they spend, they somehow get reimbursed from somebody. Whether it's from the participant, whether it's from the towns, whether it's from a national organization, or contributions. So with that being said, and they're all a little bit different, so that might be a hard one to get from each individual in a systematic, consistent format. But that was one we wanted to try to flush out.
Do you see a difference between like the flower ladies and the food bank than all the other organizations? I mean, do they go to follow the same?
As of right now, they are, but we don't know how, because that's one that's really tough, you know. If the food pantry wants X amount of dollars, what their actual costs are, or whatever they have to spend in the process. So their costs are $8,000 if they have $8,000 to spend, which is very different from Meals on Wheels, which they know what it costs to produce a meal, and they'd like us to share it in a certain expense.
Well, I don't disagree with what Harold suggested, we just do it, because at the end of the day, we may decide that the data we collect doesn't help us make up our mind. I mean, it's not gonna solve our problem and our discussion about the various amounts that people either wanna give or don't wanna give anything, or wanna give less than. So it's not gonna solve our problem, but I don't see the problem with doing it to start with. So I'll second his motion.
Motion is made, second, all in favor? Thank you. Off to the manager's report.
Well, we actually have, we gotta vote to abate the
Oh, sorry, my apologies. Vote on number 5 to abate 8 Smithfield Road, Texas.
property.
Doug doesn't want to call it an abatement, he wants to call it that we would be writing them off,
Okay,
okay?
Jan, why don't you go ahead and handle that then?
Okay. So what we did is we brought the interest back as of July 5th, 2016. So the total amount that needs to be written off is that $2,603.18, and that is on the property that we acquired on the Smithfield Road. And we're going to be keeping that property, so there wouldn't be any money coming towards it to pay towards taxes
At this point in time.
at this point in time.
I'd make a motion, we write off the amount of $2,603.18, since we own the property anyway.
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor? And now off to the manager's report.
Okay, actually, I have a list of the foreclosures, or the pending foreclosures that's gonna take place this month. Last year, I think we had 23 at this time of the year, and this year we're at 27. A lot of these people wait right to the 11th hour to pay their property taxes, but we'll be calling most of them to remind them that their taxes are due. And, so if you have any questions on that, it's a lot of the same people year after year. And, it would scare me to wait for last minute on this, but. Any questions on that at all? The other thing on my manager's report is we need to talk about our upcoming meetings. We've got a council meeting that's scheduled for the 27th, which is the day before Thanksgiving. I think that's something that we can probably forego, and given the time of year. And I'd like to talk about possibly holding just one meeting in December. And the date that I kind of zeroed in on was right dead center of the month, which was December 18th. And the reason we want to wait until the 18th is because that's the time when we talk about COLAs for the employees, and those numbers don't come out until December 15th. So we'll have those numbers for that meeting. So my recommendation is to eliminate the November 27th meeting and hold a meeting on the 18th of December.
I'd make a motion, we consider this our only November meeting, and we have one on December 18th.
Motion made, do I get a
And
second?
eliminate the other 2 December meetings, so there's just that
One
one.
is-
Just one more meeting.
We can't have one on the second Wednesday of November.
I know, because of Jan.
Yes.
And you've never seen evidence of that.
We've never seen any of that.
No.
I'll second that.
Second, all in favor?
Discussion.
Question?
The only thing, I discussed this with Gary,
December.
that would typically also be his evaluation meeting. And we would have to, at the end of, by the time we leave tonight, know how we're going to proceed to be ready for that evaluation meeting.
I think last year he sent us out a form to use, didn't he? And we filled it in on our own and came prepared to discuss it. Is that how we did it?
Well, and we also
That's
said,
gathered.
we gathered and went over it as a group and came up with comments and things like that to present to him
Okay.
at that time. And if we want to do that again, that's an executive session.
That would be an
activity.
executive session. We'll come up with a date and time that works for the group. We'll secure the room here. You can come in and talk about me and come up with a game plan, how you want to move forward on it.
Did we do that before? I thought we had the meetings with some of the employees.
We did that too. We met with the employees and then we had that session.
Yeah. We tried hard to find somebody who didn't like him.
No.
Well, you know, I mean, we can do that again, but I think
Yeah, no,
it's just this, you know,
you've got them all
I
snowballing.
treat everybody so bad that. So, it's your call on that one. Doesn't make any difference to
I
me.
think the meeting we had last year with the employees was very good, informative, but we didn't learn anything that we didn't already know. You know, it was just a nice discussion with the employees, as far as I could see.
Yeah, yeah.
It was nice to sit and talk to the employees a while, but it didn't add anything to the process, I don't think,
No.
because we didn't find out much that we didn't already know.
Good.
So you want to skip that? We'll schedule a meeting for you gentlemen to get together, first part of the month of December maybe. And I'll send out a doodle poll or something so we can come up with something for a time. And schedule an executive session on the 18th at the end of the meeting so we can sit and you can do your job. If that works.
If you had our get-together on the 11th, we all had in our calendar that we were gonna meet that night anyway.
We could do that.
So
We
this
could use your 11th.
room is bound to be empty that night.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
a suggestion.
That would be a good suggestion. Would the 11th work for?
I might probably be late if I get here. That's the annual meeting of the MRC that night.
Okay, all right.
So I probably will be here late, but that's all right.
What's late?
I don't know, when the meeting gets over.
You're gonna stand outside and wait for us to come out?
It'd be nice to have everybody here, so
Yeah,
maybe that's
well,
not a good
No,
time.
I don't think that'd be a problem.
We could make a 4 o'clock meeting if it's easy for people. An afternoon meeting, not on the 11th, but we can pick a date, so you're not out here after dinner. I'll send out an email for everybody and we'll come up with something.
Okay.
Very good. Motion is made and second. All in favor of what we said about the dates? Thank you.
Perfect. That's all I have, sir.
Anything else? Mr.
Oh, I
Gruner?
do have, I'm sorry, annual celebration for the Central Maine Growth Council. They have their annual meeting on November 21st, 5 to 7. I'm going, I believe my wife is going, the council's invited to go. It's going to be held at the Hathaway Creative Center. They actually have quite a few companies, local companies, who are going to be presenting their wares, and you can buy stuff for your family if you choose. And the food's going to be there. So if anybody would like to go, let me know and I'll RSVP for you.
What's the date?
The 21st of November from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Hathaway Creative
Week
Center.
from Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
Yeah, next Thursday, that's correct. So if anybody's got a burning desire to go sit through that, let me know.
There was a discussion about the annual General Assembly meeting for KRDA on the 14th at one time. Did they move that?
No, that's tomorrow night.
It is?
Yeah, the KRDA meeting, it's not the annual meeting, it's
It's a General
their
Assembly
General
meeting, I
Assembly
guess, what I
meeting,
meant
and
to
I'll be
say.
going to that tomorrow night.
Mr. Skoda, anything? Thank you for attending. Mr. Foster's just,
I was gonna say, you're gonna introduce Mr. Foster.
yes, Mr. Rick Frost over there, gentleman just won the Ward 5 for City of Waterville.
Absolutely.
Want to come in and watch?
Congratulations.
Coming in.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's congratulations or condolences.
Yes.
Thanks for coming in.
Depends on the night.
Mr. Bowman, anything?
Just a quick question on our doodle poll that you guys are gonna send out. Mornings, afternoons, evenings, does anybody have a time when they don't wanna meet as a group? And I'm just talking mornings, is that out, afternoons? Mike? your
Mornings
schedule?
are, yeah,
What's that?
mornings are out for me.
Till
I just can't.
the whole
Till
morning?
10 o'clock.
till 10.
Yeah. We can go before 5 and I'm all set.
We can set a time right now, a date and a time.
I think it would be better, that way we won't be sending you dates that nothing.
Yeah, 10 o'clock, I can, get here.
Okay, we've got Monday, December 2nd,
Good for me.
11 o'clock,
When?
11 o'clock in the morning.
As far as I know. it's all right.
I'm not gonna be available that first week of December at all.
Okay, so let's,
So that's perfect.
That's perfect, I agree.
Can we just back off just 1 second here?
Sure.
How long does your meeting usually go? You've been to it a couple hundred
You
times.
never know, it depends on
No, you
what's
don't.
going on. I don't know the set time that they
Yeah,
usually
but I mean,
done.
in general,
Gary's been there before too, you never know on the annual
Couple
meeting
hours
how long it
usually.
could last.
starts at 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could be there until 6:37.
How about the 10th? Day before the 11th?
10th. Yep, the
good with me.
room's clear.
second Tuesday, I don't have anything.
What time?
5, 6, 5 better than 6.
5 o'clock?
5, fine, the room's available,
December 10, at what time, 5?
5 PM.
With food?
Yeah.
So I'll notify the media that it's gonna be executive session, I'll make sure that you're all set.
Good.
5 o'clock, perfect, well done.
Mr. Buzzell?
I had something that slipped my mind, so I'll pass.
Mr. Knight?
I'm all set.
Mr. Rigger?
MRC put out a notice here that as of now, they're taking all the waste from the 115 towns and they passed their test and they're going commercial, so. Barring any broken equipment, they should be running steady.
They had a breakdown yesterday.